6:32 p.m. on this Tuesday, July 12th, 2016, I'm sorry, 2016. And so, I'll call the meeting to order. And if everyone would please stand for the invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, help us in these turbulent times, when evil and violence claim too many lives. For one reason or another, it's always been so. We pray for your guidance and wisdom to help us understand that it is your plan that will triumph over all evil. And help those, Lord, who've lost friends and loved ones. Help us tonight, O Lord, while we try here to work through our differences. We pray that in all things we work your will. In Christ's precious name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Now, we do have first thing on the agenda, or it's actually item number 4, citizen communications, and we do have one from Mr. Eddie Judkins. Mr. Judkins here. Yes, sir.
Come on, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think you'll be heard better if you do.
I received a citation here a few weeks ago for long grass. It was on the shoulder of the right-of-way, the highway right-of-way up here on the corner of Garver and Highway 5. Dirt plots out there this big around. You can't mow it, you can't weed it. Policeman come by there and told my renter that if he didn't do something to that grass, he was going to get a ticket. My renter told me, and I come down here and told him, we're not going to mow that grass. Give me the ticket. So I need a warning. I said, I don't want a warning. I want the ticket. I went to the court with the ticket and they dismissed it. And in my conversation with the officer, I asked him if he gave everybody in his section a warning for long grass. And he said, yes, I did. And I looked at him and I said, are you sure you gave everybody in your section of town a warning for long grass? He wouldn't answer me again. If the city of Alstyne is going to have these ordinances, they need to use a little common sense about enforcing them to start with. Enforce all of them on everybody, or none of them on anybody. That's about all I've got to say.
All right. All right. So we're going to move on to public hearings now. So we can convene this part at 6:36. All right, and first, item number 5 on the agenda is conduct a public hearing regarding the 2015 annual drinking water quality report. Will there be a presentation on that?
Councilwoman Madison Johnson will be giving the annual quality report. Steve White's out with a shoulder injury.
The annual drinking water report for last year was filed on time per TCEQ requirements. It shows the constituents of the water. The water was tested in accordance with TCEQ policies, and at the number of locations required. It tests for lead and copper, arsenic, barium, all the contaminants that are on the list. All the water, all tested within the safe zones for all those, every contaminant, some, none, and some. And all the testing was done in requirements. So there's a public hearing to make sure that the public knows about their drinking water and the safety of it. So this meets that requirement, and then should be open for public comments if anybody wants to.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? Second call for questions and comments regarding item number 5. Third and last call. I see no. We'll move on to, well, thank you. We'll move on to item number 6. This is another public hearing. Conduct a public hearing regarding a final plat of the Acalia Edition, being a replat of a portion of subdivision 6 in division 1, the original town plat of Van Alstyne, as shown by plat of record in volume 37, pages 642 and 643, deed records, Grayson County, Texas, more commonly known as 302 North Main Street. And I'll add that according to the notes that I got, planning and zoning did recommend approval of this. Oh, and it's going to come up again in the future agenda. Are there any presentations, any comments or questions? Second call for comments or questions. Third and last call for comments or questions. I see no hands, so we'll move on to item number 7. Conduct a public hearing regarding a final plat of Georgetown Village 2, Phase 2, being described as a 2.237 acre addition to the city of Van Alstyne, Grayson County, Texas, being a replat of Benton Holdings Baker Place, volume 23, page 60. This will come up again during the regular agenda. And once again, this has been recommended, or planning and zoning is recommended approval on this item. Are there any comments or questions on item number 7? Yes, sir.
Mayor, members of the council, I'm Greg Edwards. I'm the engineer on the project, and I'm here just in case you have any questions.
Questions for me?
I have a question. Did I understand that it was going to be front car garages? Or will there be garages or not?
Yes, in front of the
Front end? Okay. So the pictures you guys send us in the display thing have nothing to do with what the election was?
Georgetown Village, is it Georgetown? This is Georgetown Village.
Oh, I thought this was,
No, so the McKelvey was the previous one.
I'm mixed up. Okay. Now, thinking about something. Thank you.
Well, if there are no more comments or questions, we'll move on to item number 8. Item number 8 is conduct a public hearing regarding the final plat being 1.647 acres of Lot 5, Cold Springs Industrial Park Addition to the city of Van Alstyne, Grayson County, Texas, being a replat of said addition, volume 5757, page 934. This is going to be for action later on the agenda. This will be item number 13. And once again, planning and zoning, I'm told, have recommended approval of this. And so are there any comments or questions regarding item number 8? Second call for questions or comments. Third and last call for questions or comments concerning item number 8. Seeing no hands, I'll move on. And so the next items are going to be on a consent agenda. I'll read through these, and if the council wants to remove any of these from the consent agenda and discuss them further, then we can. But we have items 9 through 19 that are on the consent agenda. Item number 9, consider and take any action necessary regarding approval of minutes from the June 14, 2016 regular meeting and the June 14, 2016 zoning board of adjustment. Item number 10, consider and take any action necessary regarding a final plat of the Acalia Edition, being a replat of a portion of subdivision 6 in division 1 of the original town plat of Van Alstyne, as shown by plat of record, volume 37, pages 642 and 643, deed record, Grayson County, Texas, more commonly known as 302 North Main Drive. Number 11, consider and take any action necessary regarding a final plat for the Georgetown Village Phase 3, 16.479 acres, being part of the Common McKinney Survey, abstract number 771, Van Alstyne, Grayson County, Texas, located near the southeast corner of Kelly Lane and Village Park, and and that's a 55 resident addition, or 55 residences. Item number 12, consider and take any action necessary regarding the final plat of the Georgetown Village 2, Phase 2, being described as a 2.237 acre addition to the city of Van Alstyne, Grayson County, Texas, being a replat of Bendy Holdings Baker Place, volume 23, state or page 60. And that's the 9 residential lots being built by Stone Hollow, south of Thompson. Item number 13, consider and take any action necessary regarding the final plat being 1.647 acres of Lot 5, Cold Springs Industrial Park Edition, City of Van Alstyne, Grayson County, Texas, being a replat of said edition, dash volume 5757, page 934. Number 14, consider and take any action necessary regarding the approval of the site plan submitted by Perez and Perez Enterprises, LLC, being 1.647 acres of Lot 5, Cold Springs Industrial Park Edition, to the city of Van Alstyne, Grayson County, Texas, being a replat of said edition, volume 5757, page 934. Item number 15, consider and take any action necessary regarding this. 15? Okay. Okay. Item number 15 is going to be removed, or is going to be removed from the consent agenda that we discussed further. It's going to be placed in the regular agenda. Item number 16, consider and take any action necessary regarding voting for a person to serve as the General Law City's representative of Greater Texoma Utility Authority Board of Directors. I understand that the nominee right now is Mr. Scott Blackerby of Leonard. That's, I imagine everybody knows that's a little less than 25 miles east of Alstyne as the crow flies. Item number 17, consider and take any action necessary regarding approval of an amendment to potable water pass-through and pumping agreement to the city of McKinney as it relates to the Common Grayson Municipal Alliance, GCMA in parentheses, water line.
Could we do that?
Sure. Okay. So items number 15 and 17 are going to come off the consent agenda. Item number 18, consider and take any action necessary regarding the board of design, environmental, and construction management services of Phase 1 of Van Alstyne's shared use plan funded by the Transportation Alternative Program, or TAP in parentheses. Item number 19, consider and take any action necessary regarding approval of an ordinance to abandon an easement in Block 11 of the original town plan at the southeast corner of South Douglas Road and Austin Place. And staff recommends approval of that abandonment of that easement, as there is no water or wastewater infrastructure under that easement. And so that is all of the consent agenda. So all but as to all but items number 15 and 18, which are going to be
17.
17. Okay. No, I meant to say 17. So items number 15 and 17, which are going to go on the regular agenda. Is there a motion regarding this consent agenda? Yes.
Could we just clarify for the record, if item 16 is approved as part of the consent agenda, is that for the nominee whose name you mentioned when you were reading the item?
If we don't have a nominee, then...
Or no nominee, I don't think it's
nominee, then we can...
clear.
We can talk about that on the regular agenda too.
The 16 and 18 need to be moved.
Well, yeah, I mean, the item is to nominate someone, so if you're not saying a name as part of the consent, then you probably should take it off to discuss who, if anyone, you want.
Okay. And is 18 okay to stay, or does it need to be clarified as far as who the award goes to?
That specifically identifies the project, but
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's okay.
Okay.
All right, so 15 items, 15, 16, and 17 are all off the consent agenda. And do I have a motion as to the other items on the consent agenda? Move to approve.
Yes, we need to approve the items on consent agenda.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Then I'll call for a vote. All in favor? It is unanimous. So we'll move on to the regular agenda, and we may as well start, I suppose, with items 15, 16, and 17 from the consent agenda. So, number 15 from the consent agenda is consider and take any action necessary regarding the appointment of Karen Gordon, Robert Shelton, and Brad Clough, and reappointment Teddy Ann Salmon and Mark Swift to the Parks and Recreation Board of Directors. Any questions or discussion on that?
Yes, so, I chose to have that taken off the consent agenda for purposes of item 1 of the name, since obviously this time staying from that.
All right. So, do we have a motion regarding item to appoint these, all right, so we have a motion to appoint 3 and reappoint 2 more. Do I have a second? Let's see. All right, we do have a second. All in favor? Mr. Brad Clough abstaining. It's unanimous among the other four council. Next item is number 16. Consider and take any action necessary regarding voting for a person to serve as the general law city's representative on the Greater Texoma Utility Board of Directors. And what we have received in our packet is a resume and an application from Mr. Scott Blackerby, who lives in Atlanta, as I said. Do we have any other nominees or is there any discussion about this?
I would make a motion that since we don't have a candidate of our own from here, and since he's the only candidate for it, we go ahead and use our vote for Scott Blackerby.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? All right, it is unanimous. I'll add that Mr. Blackerby had an impressive resume, so he should be a good board member. Number 17, consider and take any action necessary regarding approval of an amendment to the potable water pass-through and pumping agreement for the city of McKinney as it relates to the Collin Grayson Municipal Alliance, GCMA, in parentheses, water line. Staff did recommend approval of this. Is there any further discussion or questions?
Yeah, I did. Number 1, on the first page of the memo, I'm assuming that when he states how twice that he ruled in Melissa's one, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second question, on page 2, it talks about remedies of failure of commercial commence construction of delivery point. From what I understand, what we're doing here, now, I just want a little bit of explanation of what we're doing here. This is where the pipeline comes in along Highway 5, at the pump station up there. At the other end, at the McKinney end, they presently are hooked into Melissa's water, so that, and then Melissa's hooked into Anna, and Anna's hooked into us, and we're hooked into Al, all by a single pipeline that goes down Highway 5. Is that correct?
That's true.
Okay. What they're asking about now is to us to no longer have a McKinney connection, But this is talking about having a straight on connection to the water line that comes out of the lawn? Is that what it is?
What was anticipated was for there to be a direct connection from North Texas Municipal Water Line directly to the CGMA water line, which provides the water to the four cities. McKinney has been the pass-through until that occurred. North Texas Municipal did not construct the direct pipeline within the time frame that they estimated. So for us to be able to pull the water here in the next 4 weeks, and for Anna and Melissa to continue to pull the water, we need to keep pulling from McKinney through McKinney's pipeline and not from, because the direct connection does not exist at this time.
So this is just a thing to extend?
This is to extend the current
Until
agreement.
hopefully GTUA gets out.
North Texas.
Okay, so they get the pipeline.
Yes, sir.
Built in West Wilson.
Yes, sir.
So there was talk of taking the water before it got to Lamont. Is that the way they're gonna do it? Do we know that? Are they actually taking
Are
out?
you talking about the water
Lamont?
that's going from Sherman, from Texoma to Lavon? You know anything about that, Lynn?
Yeah, well, that's not treated water, so there's just, treatment plant up this way. When they do the lower Bodark up near Bonham, they will have a treatment plant near Leonard, so they will mix the water there. So and eventually, there might be another connection in from Leonard, but that's years in the making.
So the line that we're replacing McKinney's connection with will be from where then?
It's through McKinney, but it's directly from North Texas. There is no McKinney meter in McKinney.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll get water directly.
At
from-
that point in time, we'll quit paying McKinney and pay somebody else.
Then we are a direct customer to the North Texas system, and we don't have to pay McKinney's upcharges.
Okay. Do we know anything about when they're gonna start building this?
It's been planned for 2 or 3 years, and because of the Texoma line and everything else, everything's been pushed back about 5 years. So another 2 or 3 years is what they're anticipating right now.
But we shouldn't have any problem getting water before.
No. The water's there. It's just the structure to get it up to us is through the McKinney system right now.
As a part of it, this is probably a little bit separate, as a part of this, then we have to build according to McKinney's and everybody water restriction rules, right?
Once we start taking, then we'll have to follow North Texas water restriction rules.
Which are mostly controlled out of Plano and Richmond.
No, they come from the cities that are within the North Texas, North Texas district.
The member cities.
The member cities set up the
Which
restrictions.
is it's Garland, Richardson, Plano, McKinney, Frisco, Mesquite.
And now us,
Well, no, we're a customer
We're not-
city. We're not a member city, we're a customer city. CGMA will be a customer.
but since we're a customer, we still have to follow their rules.
Yeah. It's still their water. It's still they're still producing the water. But just so you know, their rules have relaxed. They're back to twice a week watering.
Yeah.
Everything else since the Lake Lamont is up. So it's not near as restrictive as it was two summers ago.
And are we affected by this thing on the last page, where it talks about 150% of your forward cost? Go up by GTUA agrees to price for water delivery, which is not less than 150% more than the previous year's basic cost.
Because it's an extension of the current agreement, that falls within the current agreement.
And that's basically if we hit the take or pay, which without, and Alstyne and Howe on it,
Okay.
that's talking about the increase in rate if the take or pay is exceeded.
Okay. If any of them do it, or if we,
If the total system, all four cities are considered as one entity.
okay,
So with the
then
take or,
Melissa take a lot more water than they're supposed to, then we end up paying more.
then we could be subject to the take or pay and do that, so yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Are we still recommending?
We're finally gonna start taking water from it.
I would think it's taking water. Thanks, sir.
there are no more questions or comments, and we have a motion to approve the amendment.
I'll make a motion. Go to the public statement.
And second, we have a second, all in favor? All right, it's unanimous, and so the amendment is approved. Item number, okay, now we're going to move to what was former, back to the regular agenda. Item number 20, consider and take any action necessary regarding amending the Alstyne Economic Development Corporation's fiscal year 2015-2016 operating budget to increase funds for salaries, benefits, and/or payroll expenses. Is there a presentation?
There's a statement from Patrick Flynn.
Yeah, basically, for I'm not sure if we're going to talk about this right now, or you all have questions.
I have a question that I think legal might be able to help the council with before the presentation. So we can do that to executive session.
Get legal advice in executive session.
Yes, sir.
All right, so item number 20, we're going to discuss that in executive session. We'll have a number of items to discuss in executive sessions, but it is the last thing. Item number 21, consider, provide direction, and take any action necessary regarding a request from John Jennings to revise current city towing ordinances and procedures to include a rotational selection system. In under 21, subpart A, consider and take any action on an ordinance repealing or amending towing ordinance number 636. Subpart B, consider and take any action on an ordinance amending the city fee schedule adopted by section 2-183 of the city code, city of ordinance, the code of ordinance, to adopt tow truck permit application fees and set maximum fees for non-consent tows and vehicle storage. And that is also, it's on here for executive session also. So we will be discussing that right now. Moving on to item number 22, discussion regarding possible amendments to the City of Van Alstyne Code, section 46-107, .B.3, requiring the vote of 4 members of the zoning board of adjustment to A, reverse an order requirement decision or determination of an administrative official, B, decide in favor of an applicant on a matter on which the board is required to pass, or C, authorize a variation from the terms of a city zoning regulation. And this is also reserved for the executive session. And so, we're ready to move on to departmental reports.
Chief Barnes, you ready?
Sure. We had, for the police department, we had 9 hours of training this last month, 36 incidents, 843 calls for service. We completed our DWI enhancement step program for the holiday of Independence Day. And we also had our neighborhood watch meeting. For communications, they had answered 163 911 calls. They had 1,007 calls for services. Training hours for communication was 20. And phone call non-emergency received was 2,430. The municipal court, training hours were 24, and they closed 308 cases.
Thank you, Chief. Judy?
Let's see. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The library is a very busy place. This last month, our door count went from 1,645 up to 2,097, with an increase of 452 more people coming in our doors. Our circulation reflects that, from up 833 items in 1 month. We have doubled our children's programs. We have doubled the number of new patrons that we usually have, which is 30-something. This month we had 69. I expect that to climb even more as we have a full month of summer programs under our belt. Our total volunteer hours also have gone up, thank goodness. So we have some extra help at 44 last month. Every Monday we have a summer program here in the community center at 10:30, so we invite everyone to join us then. This Monday will be a mad scientist. So you might have driven by the library and noticed we have a 40-foot mobile science trailer in our parking lot right now. So tomorrow
starting from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. We have the TAM, which is Texas Science from Minorities for Engineering. They're with the Mobile Science Museum exhibit starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow. We have a program every day, so please come by the library. It's a really bustling place and a good place to be.
Thank you, Judy. Council, we have Tiffany Lanning sitting in for Jennifer. Jennifer did have her baby. Both baby and Jennifer are healthy and happy and healthy. Tiffany, your report.
Yes. The administration department, in the month of June 2016, the department responded to 10 requests for public records, accepted 1 zoning petition, issued 1 commercial permit and 8 residential permits for plumbing, re-roofing, foundation repair, fencing, and miscellaneous accessory structures for a total of 9 permits. Accepted and entered 45 new utility accounts, 7 mailing address changes, 2 additional waste can requests, 23 utility count disconnections, 7 ad name requests, processed 95 purchase orders, issued 60 general fund checks, 46 water fund checks, 6 insurance trust fund checks, 1 court technology fund check, 1 court security fund check, and 1 SNN enterprise check for a total of 116 checks. And also the Planning and Zoning Board will meet on July 20th at 6:30 in the Community Center.
Thank you, Tiffany. Leonard Manis will be not only talking about engineering projects, but also public works, capital projects. Lynn?
I didn't get the water counts, but the water line disinfection, the project has been bored under 75 and passed disinfection, so we now have a continuous water line, which will probably put in service the next 2 to 3 weeks with the existing water. We got about 2 to 3 week wait on parts for the pump station upgrades, and then that we should have water hopefully by the 1st of August out of CDMA. So we'll finally start to get using that water. The sewer line project, we had a walkthrough with it last Friday. Went through all of it. We're in the final stages, about 2 to 3 weeks of construction, and they should be finished with the sewer line project out there on 3133 all the way up to F121, the pipe bursting project. If you haven't been out to Stone Hollow today, you missed it. They've already paved 90% of their pavement. It's paved all the way up to Kelly Road, and they've got half of Caruth paved along the school. And all they got to do is they'll have to come in and do the intersections. That'll take a couple weeks, but 90% of the pavings are on the ground right now. So if we do that, Palladium is kicked off. They are doing all the dirt work. They have that big detention area and moving along. Plans will be released tomorrow, so they'll start utility construction as they go forward. And then we've approved the 55 lots for DR Horton. Those plans are due in this week, so we should have a pre-construction, and they should start on their subdivision in the next couple weeks. So we've got a lot going on. Any questions?
Sure.
I don't know whether you've answered or the city manager answered.
Okay.
But related to the water line, and when we connect to it, are we going to just take minimum out of it as long as we can, or is that a plan, or
We're going to
do we
take,
have a plan?
we're going to take our share. So what we've been paying take or pay for
Yeah.
all this time?
Now we'll
We want to
start
take up to
paying
we
more
want to
right
take up to that
But we
limit.
won't take more than that because
We don't want to, because we'll supplement with well water.
Yeah.
We have enough capacity back at the wells to keep things going, but the idea, you're obligated for 162,500 gallons a day on the CGMA line.
Get it.
We're gonna tap that, and then the wells supplement the extra that we need.
Do we now pay for the wells so much to the state for getting the water out of the ground?
Yes.
We have to pay a certain amount,
So they get to pay that?
There could be some cost savings there.
Okay,
So
thank you.
the main thing is what are our costs as far as pumping it out of the water line? And the disinfection should be same, just depending on what the quality of the water is once it gets up here. But we hope to see some cost savings. Whether citizens will see it in their pocketbook, I don't know, because we're going to continue to work on infrastructure projects.
TBC. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Mayor and Council, I've got the fire department's report for the month of June. Total calls for service were 133. 911 calls, there were 62 in the city of Van Alstyne, 24 in Gunner. 24 in Howe, 8 in Gunner, 4 in Tom Bean, 10 to Anna, 1 to Melissa, 1 to Sherman, and 2 to White Rider. The cities that currently take care of and participate in us paying for our EMS and fire are the County of Grayson, the City of Tom Bean, the City of Howe, and the City of Gunner, as well as the fine citizens of Van Alstyne. Transports, we had 88. Non-emergency transports were 33. Patients that refused to be transported were 5, and we called for 2 helicopters. And we referred 5 calls to other agencies because our units were out on other calls. So altogether, we had 112 emergency and 21 transfers for a total of 133. The 3 main points of emphasis are we're working towards being able to host a live fire training in the early fall with our entire department, as well as a few of the surrounding agencies that we partner with from mutual aid. We're working towards supplementing our full-time staff by hiring 2 additional part-time personnel because we've lost personnel. They're getting hired by other agencies, so that speaks well for us, but we're having to hire additional part-time personnel to fill our staffing. And we're beginning the process of identifying additional grants for training and fire ground supplies and equipment. Any questions about fire or EMS? Okay. City manager report. Most of the directors have hit on everything besides the fireworks. I've gotten a positive response on the fireworks that we had on the 4th up at the high school. I want to tell Chief Barnes that I appreciate everything he does. Keep us safe. And we'll have budget discussions coming up. I'll be sending those dates out to y'all, make sure that y'all are available, and that we can all get together and start doing our presentations. We'll start out just like we did last year, have enterprise fund, work on public works and enterprise fund projects for this next year. And then once we get our general fund tax rate and revenues in, we'll be getting together for the general fund portion of our budget. Mayor did receive a letter today, which Bruce Stidham wants us to establish our budget, our rate, by the 15th of September. I believe we can do that. However, it all depends on how quickly he gets us what our revenues are going to be on the general fund side. So it's kind of, give us enough time to get it together, and we'll get it back to you. So he won't put us under a time crunch, so that way he can get his letters out to all the property owners. Y'all have any questions for me? All right, thank you, council.
Closing comments from the council?
Yes, I want to thank Chief Barnes and our emergency responders for all that you do to keep us safe in Van Alstyne. My condolences to the loss of individuals that you knew in Dallas. I know that this is a concern for all of the Dallas Metroplex and this area as well. I was actually near Dallas the night that it happened, and the buildings were literally glowing red and blue from the number of emergency responders that had come from every direction in Dallas to that emergency. And our heart just really goes out to everyone that was involved, and those that were affected, which is really broad across all of this whole thing. Thank you.
I want to thank staff for putting all this agenda together. I actually like the way this all went together, all the work that you do on this. Chief Barnes, I want to echo a little what Timmer said, because I believe you told us you personally knew 2 of the people before.
Yeah, we'll be attending a funeral starting tomorrow.
It's unfortunate to go. I would like to say a little something about the water situation too. That is also, taking this water is going to help, I guess it's fair to say, preserve our wells for a little longer, because if we continue to just use the wells, they're going to fail eventually.
We're tapping, during the peak months a couple of years ago when we were in the drought, we were tapping every well as much as we could and getting every bit of water out of it. So this new development that's coming in and the growth, there was no fluff to do that. This just provided a 50% bonus in capacity to do that. So.
And from what I understand about water wells in this part of the country, they don't recharge quickly. I mean, it takes a while. It took a long, long time for that water to get into that space, and we pump a lot of it out, and it takes a long time to recharge. So it's fortunate that we have these reservoirs that we can tap. Otherwise, we'll be moving into executive session soon. So I'm going to read this statement. It's item number 25. Pursuant to section 551.0415 of the Texas Government Code, the City Council may report on the following items. 1, expression of thanks, congratulations, and condolences. Oh, wait a second, I'm reading wrong. Executive session. This is what I was supposed to read. In accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, Open Meetings Law, in parentheses, the City Council may meet in a closed executive session pursuant to applicable laws. Item number 26, all items below for executive session pursuant to the following designated actions of the Texas Government Code annotated in subchapter 551. The council will enter into executive session to discuss the following items. A, section 551.074, personnel matters in parentheses for annual evaluation of the city manager. B, section 551.071, consultation with attorney, parentheses, regarding towing ordinance, that's one small I in parentheses, two small I's in parentheses, ETJ in Common County, and three small I in parentheses, the state law requirements for variances. And now we have, what
Item 20.
Item 20, which was consider and take any action necessary regarding amending Van Alstyne Economic Development Corporation's fiscal year 2015-2016 operating budget to increase funds for salaries, benefits, and/or payroll expenses.
It's 22 of the meetings.
Yes, it is.
And so, all right, the time is 7:14 p.m. and we're ready to recess from the regular city council agenda and go into executive session. And I will say that we'll go into executive session at 7:30 p.m. So thank you all very much for attending. Of course, you're free to stay if you want to. This slide will be a long executive session. All right, well, we came out, we adjourned to the executive session at 9:25, and the time is now 9:27, and we're going to reconvene in our open meeting. Let's see. And so, now, correct me if I'm wrong on this, on the item, consider and take any action regarding amending the Van Alstyne Economic Development Corporation fiscal year 2015-2016 operating budget to increase funds for salaries, benefits, and/or payroll taxes. We won't, I think, we're going to take no action on that because there has to be some discussion on just how EDC and the city are going to interact, or how much of this person's work would be strictly for the EDC and how much might be for the city. So I think the idea is to come up with an agreement with someone that you can present to someone that you're interviewing. Is that sensible?
I'm not clear.
Okay.
So what we need to do is go back as ABC and come up with an agreement that we'll have with the city or.
Do you imagine this person being a city employee, or do you imagine him being strictly an EDC employee?
Well, I think that as far as the vote that we had recently, was that we voted to have him be a city employee. So I don't know if that would be something that is going to start for this budget, or is that something that's going to start for the next budget, and if it would really affect this budget? And if we could just approve what's for this next couple of months, so we can go ahead and get the process started. So I'm trying to, what I need to take back to the EDC when we talk about it, is that we need to come up with an agreement with the city for the next budget before we can.
Well, I think for hiring, period, whether it be for this budget period or next, is that correct?
I'm just trying to be clear.
So the agreement would, if, based upon the vote that EDC took, the agreement would need to be, the agreement would need to be evaluated by the EDC board. Council would need to take a look at this agreement as well, because it does affect the city, it would affect the city as well. Once that agreement is agreed to, then the hiring process will start. If it's going to be a city employee, then we need to establish that that person is going to be a city employee from the start, and that way the job is posted for the city position, and everything is established appropriately. And that way there isn't any ambiguity in the people applying for the job, starting out as an EDC employee, and then they transition to a city position. So that's really where it seems as if things are headed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And I'll help you with
I'm
that.
just trying to think
Okay.
about when I go back, I know that you'll be
Well,
there to
can
help
I
me
ask
explain
a
it.
question? And how soon could this take place?
I can get you those documents this week.
Okay.
And so this council's going to need to review them as well.
So
Okay.
we're going to need to come back to the next council meeting
Yes, sir.
before we be able to start the hiring process.
So does that mean it'll be another month before we can start the hiring
Well, it really
process?
depends. It depends on how quickly can the EDC determine what is it that they want to do in regards to the agreement. And then that agreement needs to be reviewed by council. So it could take another month. It could take a couple of weeks.
Is that something that, is there possible for us to get this done quickly and then have it only take a couple of weeks? I mean,
It's possible
You
for
guys
y'all,
have
it's possible for y'all to
volunteered
have an emergency, not an emergency, but a special
Special call?
meeting.
Yeah.
Special meeting,
Yeah.
and there's a possibility the council could have a special meeting. But the main thing is for y'all to get, where y'all are comfortable with the agreement before it goes before council. Because if y'all aren't comfortable with the agreement, there isn't any reason for council to consider.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
So next was consider and provide direction and take any action necessary regarding the request from John Jennings to revise current city towing ordinances and procedures to include a rotation list selection system. In subpart A, consider and take any action on an ordinance repealing or amending towing ordinance number 636. And subpart B was consider and take any action on an ordinance amending the city fee schedule adopted by section 2-183 of the Code of Ordinance to adopt tow truck permit application fees and set maximum fees for non-consent tows and vehicle storage. Is someone care to make a motion on this item?
We have a discussion.
Sure.
What I'd like to say is I like the ordinance as it's rewritten, but I do not agree with the rotation based on call volume and if you have 2 calls a month, why are we going to split that up between 2? I mean, one has handled it just fine the last number of years. So I don't see why we have to mess up a good relationship that the chief has endorsed himself. So I would agree with everything except for the rotation, put a primary and a secondary. That's all I'm changing. Until we grow into the need for a rotation.
Anyone else?
I feel the same way that, that what's working good, we shouldn't change it. I don't have any problem with staying with the present one we have in place, or I don't have any problem with going with a new one with just removing the locations. I think if we're, I know that the statement was made that we need to expand, that we need to allow more people to be involved, more companies to be involved in it. I don't feel we're there yet in the way of volume, and I also don't feel that the restrictions of restricting it to 3 companies does that much in allowing any more people to be involved in it. It just makes the process more difficult, so I like staying where we are.
I think the big problem I have on current ordinance is that I don't think we have any business through our ordinances, through our laws, creating monopolies. I think that if someone wants to compete in the market, they ought to be allowed to try. It doesn't work out when people call on and does a support for business, then they're not feel like they sell their equipment and drop off, or drop out of the rotation. But I don't think we can tell people with our law that they can't compete in business if they think that they see room, if they think that they can do some business. That's my problem. We're restricting it to just one business.
Can I say anything?
No, sir, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but this is history. And so,
I'll make a motion to keep the existing ordinance the way it is.
is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of keeping the ordinance as is? All opposed? We have 3 in opposition to keeping the ordinance as is. Is there a motion on adopting the new ordinance? It's the new proposed ordinance as it is.
So moved.
So do we need another session to work on this one then? Oh, so moved. I'm sorry. I thought you said some of it. So moved. Okay, I understand. I'm sorry. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Wait a second.
Any further discussion? Sure.
Can I amend that motion? Council? Am I allowed to amend the motion?
If the person that moved will accept the amendment,
Okay, I move to amend the motion that we strike the rotation and keep it as primary and secondary.
So we're going to vote on Mr. Moore's motion as he made it.
Okay.
To adopt the proposed ordinance as it is. And is there any further discussion before we call for the vote? So all in favor of adopting the new proposed ordinance? We have 3 in favor, all opposed, 2 opposed, and so the motion to adopt the new proposed ordinance carries.
you also need to take action on sub-item B.
Okay. All right. All right, and I'll read it. Consider and take any action on an ordinance amending the city fee schedule adopted by section 2-183 of the Code of Ordinance to adopt tow truck permit application fees and set maximum fees for non-consent tows and vehicles sold. And so is there any discussion on this?
Yes, this does bring us into compliance with the state. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion or question? All right, all in favor of,
I'll make a motion.
pardon me. All right, we have a motion and a second to amend the city fee schedule. All in favor? 3 in favor, all opposed. 2 opposed, and so the motion to amend the city fee schedule carries. Now, we have some, I don't know, if we even going to take action now. What's for action here? Item number 22 was discussion regarding possible amendments to the City of Van Alstyne Code, Section 46-107.E.3, requiring a vote of 4 members of the Zoning Board of Adjustment to A, reverse an order requirement, decision, or determination of an administrative official. B, decide in favor of an applicant on a matter in which the board is required to pass. Or C, authorize a variation from the terms of the city zoning regulation.
This was just a discussion item, it's not an action item, since before you could take action, the P and Z would have to take it up, but you could give direction to staff to take something to the P and Z.
Are these 3 different items from different ordinances? Or are these
No,
all-
those are the powers that the BOA has under the zoning ordinance currently. They can do other things besides the variance.
Okay, so all these other things are things that require 4 votes right now as well.
Yes.
So if we change this, we're changing all those places, not just one, not just variances. We're changing all the other rules as well.
Let me pull it up. Yes, it takes 4 votes to do all 3 of those items in the current ordinance.
When you say 4 votes.
It says 4 votes. It doesn't say 75%. It says 4 votes are required.
4 yes votes.
Correct.
And so our recommendation to P and Z, we're going to request that Frank take to P and Z a proposal that 4 votes be required, or that 75%.
For them to discuss that and bring a recommendation back to you all.
And does that require a vote on the council? Otherwise, is there anything else for action? We'll go back there all the time.
Is that what council wants me to do?
All right. Well, I think, are we ready to adjourn? Motion? And a second? All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Did you vote?
No. I vote
Oh,
no.
yeah. I guess the motion carried anyway.
Yeah, and 4 votes for it.
All right, so we're adjourned at 9:42.